Publishing the light rigs. If you didn't have created light rig tasks till now, then you can start creating the light rig tasks. It depends on how would you like to do that. You can create multiple light rigs with different subcontexts, like for example light rig day interior, sunset, down, like this, and you can just create only one light rig where you can have multiple light setups that you can switch between them to test your assets during the production. So actually the purpose of the light rig or the generic light rig that I'm going to publish now is to whenever any artist is doing texture or doing any test of any asset, this light rig will come as dependency automatically for any kind of process that might require render. So this is to test your assets in different light scenarios. So yeah, you will be expecting to have here multiple or different light types and scenarios, like because you want to see how your surfaces and textures and the asset looks are behaving in these different scenarios. Like you need extreme scenarios actually also. So you have sunny day, you have night, you have tinted colors, you have 3-point lights, you can have multiple things. In my case now, I will just publish multiple sky dome setups, which has multiple variations. I will publish all of them just in one task, because I need them always to be available to the artist to switch between them, rather than having 7 light separate dependencies. Then I will prefer to just use only one. So let me assign this to myself and set it to pending so I can see it. That's the production manager telling me that I have a new task. So now let's go to Maya. I already have some lights here I prepared for the publishing. I just assigned some texture files from any location. It doesn't matter, because Seneferu will rename the files and copy them properly to the proper location. So I will set this project light rig generic to current, and I will set it in progress, create asset locator, and publish. Now the publish is done, and this is it. If you want, you can also create a snapshot, or to make a swatch for this to make it look better. And that's it. And you may also want to create a testing environment. This can be created like this, test environment, and maybe you need, I already have one here, so this can be assigned to me. this also comes as dependency for for most of the tasks that requires testing the look of an asset. So the light rig, the turntable, and the testing environment will all come as dependencies, for example, for a surfacing or texturing task, even for modeling task, in case if the modeler needs to render these images from different directions, or making turntables. So the light rigs will also be there for this purpose. And the testing environment is very, very important, where you can collect some of the assets that you have made, like for example one character, I mean CG character, and some props with different types of materials like metals and woods, and subsurface scattering materials or wax or whatever. Collect some assets together in one testing scene, and maybe a ground or a stage or whatever. So you can have this coming as dependency for the surfacing. In that case, you make sure that all your artists are making the textures in the same proper range, or the relative range in relation to the other assets. In that case, you can make sure that the look and the color range of all the project assets are all falling in the proper range in relative to them each others, which makes the production consistent later. And when you are test rendering in all the different light scenarios, then when you go to lighting, you don't need to touch the shaders again, but you focus more on just doing the lighting, and then things should behave as expected if you have paid enough attention to make enough testing for your assets before proceeding. So this is something I will not do now, but this is something you can just bear in mind. What you are going to do something like this is that you will just simply just make a new scene, create any objects or import any assets or do whatever, and once you have this, you will create an asset locator. Like for example, if I'm going to the testing environment, and when you set this in progress and you set it in current to connect the production manager to Maya, you can create asset locator and publish. This will publish your environment. You don't need to have a camera, by the way, in the environment, because one of the shared asset things that you have to do also is to publish a camera rig. The camera rig comes as dependency for the same assets. In addition to that, the camera rig comes as dependency for the animation tasks or any task that requires cameras. So this is the camera rig, or a generic camera rig that you can use it whenever you need a camera, rather than the default camera for the that comes with different applications. Maybe you will have some controls depending on your specifications regarding to the controls you need in your camera rig. So this is your task for this purpose here. And of course, if you are going to do the lighting in Katana, then you need to publish the same light rig from Katana instead of the one that we published from Maya, or you can actually keep the two. In that case, you will be able to use either Maya or Katana, depending on the different situations. So I just created the same thing here. It's the same sky dome lights, and textures maps are assigned to them. Then I will click on publish.